Riding a bike is really important and it's really good for the environment, we know that. It's really good for you, it's good exercise, but one thing that I bet you didn't expect to hear is that riding a bike is really good for writing songs. You've already heard the story of Hornet's Nest, but Emergency is another song to have a two-wheel conception. I also wrote it, or started writing it, while riding a bike. Admittedly, it's not the same bike, but that's another story involving me riding into a bollard that was quite clearly in front of my path. This story has quite a similar start to it. I was again riding home late at night and I biked past the hospital, except I have to stop just before I get there because an ambulance comes shooting past me and it's got blue lights, no siren because it's late, but those blue lights are flashing and dancing and they're really bright, they're kind of blinding, but I think to myself, that's nice imagery and there's a story in there somewhere. But I don't want to use the words flashing lights because that's just a bit of a cliche. So what else are they doing? What other adjective describes their movement? Well, they're kind of twisting, aren't they? And then boom. When the sirens go off at night, I wait at the window for twisting light. Just comes straight into my head and I know that I'm onto something. So I'm biking home and by the time I get home, the whole of that pre-chorus is already completely written. It was one of those rare times where everything just seems to fit together really perfectly and already there's wordplay in there and there's ambiguity. You know, there's that whole thing about arrest or the best I can be. I love that line because it's either, what kind of arrest is it? Is it cardiac arrest? Is it talking about health? Or is it arrest by the police? Is it that kind of emergency? Is there crime involved? Well, actually it could be either, and the nature of the song takes shape and you've got this ambiguity, this pulling back and forth. Which one is it? I don't know. You have to listen to the whole song to make your own decision about. One thing you quickly notice about the song is that it's a much heavier feel than the rest of the EP. I was influenced quite a lot growing up by some alternative music and even a bit of early noughties pop punk, but don't tell anybody. And you can definitely feel kind of touches of that sort of thing in there. There's the really heavy drums, there's kind of a sense of urgency and desperation in the instrumentation and actually in the melody as well. There's even a sneaky little vocal breakdown halfway through, because why the heck not? The story's pretty self-explanatory, it's kind of summed up in the title. Basically, it's about someone who reaches the end of himself and finally calls out for the help that he needs. He's tired, he's weary, he's maybe dying in some capacity and reaches out for help, cries out, says, "Somebody help me, this is an emergency." And we wait and see till track 5 if that help comes, but spoiler alert, it does. I wish I could say that it was all plain sailing, but actually the reality is after that initial burst of energy where that pre-chorus was written, the rest of the song was really hard graft. I found it probably one of the hardest songs to write on the whole EP. I wasn't sure if it fit, I didn't know if I should even be writing it. And I just guess this is an encouragement that if you've got some ideas that have just seemed like they started off really fresh and were really exciting and suddenly it's like, nothing's coming of this. Try picking them up again, try working at them, and you'll find that actually eventually something will come out of them. So keep writing, don't give up. That's my inspirational moment for the day. Thanks very much for listening.